What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. The EVLS Prague Pro Prejudging is on the way. So before we talk about the first call out of Prague Pro Men's Open Bodybuilding, here is your number 4th best bodybuilder in the world. And that physique right there screams out loud why he was able to beat so many great guys at this year's Miss Olympia. I mean, just take a look at that quad sweep and that small waistline, and he's pulling vacuums like crazy here because he knows Bumstead is gonna be all classic on that stage, and he had to step up his game in that aspect as well. Now his team said that this is gonna be his best version to date, better than the Olympia this year. Well, I have got to say, I don't know about that. I'm gonna say it isn't better than the Olympia, but still it is pretty damn close to what we saw at the Olympia this year, which simply means he is most likely gonna win this show. No matter how big of a fan you are of Bumstead, you have got to admit the difference in the thickness, the density and the size between both these guys, that is just insane. So Martin brought his A game once again as promised. The most noticeable difference between him and some of these other guys in the first call out, and that included Cbum as well, that is the size difference in that lower half. Damn, his quads are just massive. And I see no exaggeration in saying that those are some of the best quads on the planet right now. So now let's talk about the first call out. So guess who was the first guy who got called out? The number 5, the 6 times Classic Physique Olympia champion, Bumstead. Then we have Sean Carida, Martin-Fitzwater, Horsendi, Matthias Holbeck, and Christian Volsky. I think Matthias is the only surprise here, as all the other guys, they were expected to be in the first call out. Yes, I was expecting Andre Presti to be in that first call out, but he is missing. And again, I'm gonna say, all these guys need to be very careful, because Bumstead, he's posing so damn well on the stage. He can literally fight for the top placing and gain some points based on his posing. So the judges really want to see that comparison of Bumstead versus Martin-Fitzwater, because Cbum stayed in the middle the entire time in the first call out and he was never moved. I cannot help but notice that Cbum seems to be in a better condition than Martin. More detailed, more separated, which also means that Martin isn't as crisp as he was at this year's Miss Olympia. I know people are gonna say that this is a men's open show and it should be judged on a bodybuilding criteria. And many people do not like that vacuum in the abs and thigh pose. But Cbum just shadowed everyone with that vacuum in that specific pose. No one is even close to having that kind of V-taper. And ultimately it all comes down to where the eyes are drawn to. And Cbum right now, he is killing the game, because I believe he is gonna beat Martin-Fitzwater, possibly in the front lat spread, the abs and thigh, and the side chest shot. Although you cannot deny that Martin's quads, they are way bigger than Cbum from every angle. But what a great impression on the judges by Cbum in this show, and that too right from the beginning. So what I found was the most interesting thing on that stage was that the former 212 Olympia champion Sean Carida was asked to switch places with Martin-Fitzwater, but Cbum stayed in the middle the entire time. So Sean looks a lot better compared to what we saw at this past Miss Olympia. He is bigger and he has immense detail, and he does have some very incredible shots like the back double biceps and the most muscular. Now, did anyone else also notice Cbum's width in that rear lat spread? That looked so comparable against Martin-Fitzwater, especially in the upper half. So with the way judging went, I think it is pretty clear that the judges will definitely reward more V-taper, more X-frame, and if Cbum is able to pull this off. And that really means changing the criteria for the men's open bodybuilding judging, because there is the size factor that always comes into play that you have always account for, especially when we talk about open bodybuilding. And there is some noticeable size difference between the active open guys and Bumstead. So the 4 guys in the final call out, they were Bumstead, Martin, Sean and Matthias. So with Chris and Martin in the middle, turns out it was a 2-man show after all, just like Ian Valier predicted. So will you guys be even a little bit surprised if they give it to Bumstead? Because I won't be surprised at all. It is all good for business, and it really opens up the storyline for Cbum doing the Miss Olympia next year in the men's open class. And also some of the other guys from Classic Physique, they can jump into the men's open. And with the popularity that this guy has, if it actually happens, you better grab those Olympia tickets sooner than later, because it is gonna be sold out. Now, my personal take is that Martin left the door open for Cbum, and Cbum came through. All this time he was telling us that he is gonna compromise his conditioning for a bit more size. But he is way more detailed than Martin, way more aesthetic, way more separated. And some of his poses, they look way better than expected. Now, muscularity-wise, both Martin and Sean, they are superior to Cbum. But that statuesque kind of physique that Chris Bumstead has on the stage, that is just so damn hard to ignore. But we have to emphasize that if Cbum wins, because the way this prejudging went down, and the way they judged, it seems like that can be the case, and that might be changing the criteria for Chris Bumstead. Now in the end, I have one question for you guys. If Cbum did not have 26 million followers on Instagram, if he wasn't this famous, would they still have judged this show the way they did tonight? Now that being said, you have got to give the credit to Chris Bumstead. His experience as a veteran of the sport, that really showed on the stage. He was so damn composed. Throughout every single call-out, he looked more confident than both Martin and Sean, and this too gave him advantage over both these guys. So the way prejudging went down, I think Cbum might be clearly in the lead after the prejudging. But do let me know what you guys think. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.